Welcome to Hannity. Tonight we're tracking multiple breaking stories all across the country. At this hour, polls have closed in several states. We'll call races throughout the hour as a result. Very tight race. Kentucky governor going on as we speak. Plus, we are following a horrific story out of northern Mexico where earlier today, well, at least 9 Americans were murdered, including 6 children, during an apparent ambush by a Mexican cartel. Coming up, we'll have the latest developments. Also tonight, why did ABC cover up a major story surrounded convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Clinton, and Prince Andrew in 2015? A bombshell new video uncovered by James O'Keefe and Project Veritas reveals one reporter struggled to get her own network to cover this inconvenient truth. Take a look.
I've had the story for 3 years. I've had this interview with Virginia Roberts. We would not put it on the air. First of all, I was told, who's Jeffrey Epstein? No one knows who that is. This is a stupid story. Then the palace found out that we had her whole allegations about Prince Andrew and threatened us a million different ways. We were so afraid we wouldn't be able to interview Kate and Will that also quashed the story.
We'll show you the entire shocking, damning video coming up just moments away. First, big breaking news. Thanks to investigative reporter tonight, John Solomon, we now have our hands on yet another document revealing a shocking level of coordination between the Obama State Department, Joe Biden, and Hunter Biden's very lucrative position with no experience at all at Burisma Holdings in Ukraine. Now, compliments of Solomon and a Freedom of Information Act request. Newly obtained memos from June of 2016 show the State Department officials, they actually prepped the new U.S. ambassador to Ukraine on how to handle questions about Burisma Holdings. And, yeah, the millions they're paying, no experience Hunter Biden. Imagine if Donald Trump did this. Imagine that. And if you're wondering, by the way, this is the same ambassador to Ukraine who recently apparently testified that I had some role in the allegations that led to her resignation. In reality, despite the obsessive fake news reporting by the media mob, I don't know anything about this woman. Her name was barely mentioned but a few times on this program, just in passing, basically. And to this day, I haven't talked to anyone from Ukraine that I knew was from Ukraine. Nobody, ever. I certainly was not lobbying for her removal, but that did not stop the mass hysteria from the mob over yours truly. I think they like putting my face on TV because then they can trick viewers that never would watch them thinking it's Fox. I don't know. Take a look.
In the new transcript out tonight, this ambassador details how Sean Hannity's attacks on her and his alleged support of aspects of the Ukraine plot made it to the highest levels of the State Department.
The Secretary of State says that he will call Sean Hannity to try to find out what the deal is with this whisper campaign of slander that is being directed at her to get her removed.
The fact that at one point in time, Secretary Pompeo said he had to call Sean Hannity to find out what U.S. foreign policy was in one of these transcripts. So, I mean, the level of insanity and craziness and venality is just unmatched.
She basically is saying, hey, you got to, state media is out to get you right now. That's what that is. That's you know, what happened with TASS, you know, in the Soviet Union in 1974. It's like state media is turned against you. The only way to get the guys in state media to back off is to offer a sacrifice to the gods.
He really is a dumb jackass. Just for the record, by the way, I never talked to the Secretary of State or anybody else from the State Department. All of what you saw, oh, it shouldn't be surprising. Let's see, a hoax, more fake news, more conspiracy theories. None of that happened. By the way, Mr. Zucker, I hope your stenographer, Humpty Dumpty, is taking notes. But back to Solomon's big breaking news. Now found in the newly uncovered documents. Oh, and by the way, this is real news. In 2016, a sample question and answer section actually is prepping this ambassador person, who I don't know who and much about, how to answer questions during her Senate confirmation hearing. One unredacted section reads, quote, question, do you have any comment on Hunter Biden, the vice president's son, serving on the board of Burisma, a major Ukrainian gas company? Then they suggest the answer. For questions on Hunter Biden's role in Burisma, I would refer you to the Vice President Joe Biden's office. Remember, Biden has been vehemently denying ever talking to his son about his Ukrainian business deals, but In June of 2016, yep, Sleepy Joe, Creepy Joe, Biden was the official point person for all matters related to Hunter Biden and Burisma Holdings. So another flat-out lie, which even contradicts his own son, by the way, who said in an interview in the New Yorker, yeah, we did talk about it. And by the way, Biden said he and Hunter did nothing wrong. Nothing. We'll correct this in a second, but take a look.
No one's established that he did anything wrong or that I've done anything wrong. Period. I carried out the policy of the United States of America, our allies, the International Monetary Fund, the EU, in dealing with a corrupt prosecutor, period. Number one, I did not know he was on the board of that company. And in fact, no one's asserted on the board that it was illegal for him to be on the board or he did anything wrong.
But if you had known, would you have said don't, or would you have believed, said this is wrong?
No, it's not wrong. His words speak for themselves. He wished he had realized how thugs like Rudy Giuliani and his cronies and the cronies of the president would try to paint it.
Nothing wrong, no experience, Ukraine, gas, oil, energy, millions of dollars. No, nothing wrong, no money, no experience, China, private equities that we can see. Oh, looks like Joe 30330 needs some help with some pretty basic fundamental facts. And this is where the mob and the media is exposed as so corrupt. Someone might want to remind sleepy, creepy, crazy Uncle Joe that his son Hunter, he wasn't selling his experience. He had zero experience in oil, gas, energy, or Ukraine, none. But he did have a direct line to his father, who was the vice president of the United States, the second highest elected man in the United States, in charge of, yes, policy in Ukraine. The only reason Hunter Biden was getting paid millions of dollars with zero experience for his so-called services, they wanted favor from the Bidens. As it turns out, we can report tonight, it looks like a pretty good investment for Burisma Holdings. Why? Because in February 2016, 3 weeks after Ukrainian authorities conducted a search warrant at the home of Hunter Biden's boss at Burisma Holdings, a representative for the company was actively communicating with the Obama State Department. According to another newly unearthed email, courtesy of John Solomon and his Freedom of Information Act request, the Burisma rep was lobbying the Obama administration to end all corruption allegations against the company, arguing, quote, even 2 high-profile U.S. citizens are affiliated with the company, including Hunter Biden as a board member. Oh, that's why they paid Mr. Zero Experience, Hunter Biden, millions of dollars. And then 1 month later, yep, there he is, Joe Biden, Vice President of the United States, in a shakedown quid pro quo Joe. Fire that prosecutor in 6 hours, I'll give you $1 billion. You don't fire him, I won't give you $1 billion. Why on earth would a vice president of the United States of America care about a prosecutor in Ukraine? The answer is obvious. His son was being investigated. Even the New York Times warned Biden his son was being investigated by that prosecutor. By the way, Democrats, we found your quid pro quo Joe. A shakedown with taxpayer dollars. And by the way, in spite of what Joe Biden just said, a serious potential violation of multiple laws. Our own Greg Jarrett laid it all out. Look at your screen. 15 U.S.C. 78. It is illegal for a U.S. person to coerce or influence through bribery, $1 billion, or extortion a foreign nation into taking action. Oh, yeah, they took action, fire the prosecutor, that might financially benefit the person, his family, Hunter, or business. That's just the tip of the iceberg. 18 U.S.C. 201C. Whoever gives, offers $1 billion, or promises anything of value to a public official to influence an official act, fire the prosecutor, is guilty of bribery. Wow, these are real laws. 18 U.S.C. 201B. Giving, offering, promising $1 billion, anything of value to a public official in exchange for official act. Fire the prosecutor. 18 U.S.C. 1951, a threat to a foreign official in order to obtain, oh, we won't give you the $1 billion, in order to obtain official benefit affecting interstate or foreign commerce could constitute extortion. Biden leveraged $1 billion U.S. tax dollars. That's right, demanded a foreign prosecutor get fired. Fire him. You get the billion. Quid. Let me do this slowly for the mob and the media. Quid pro quo. Fire him, you get $1 billion. Don't fire him, you don't get $1 billion. And son of a bee, they fired the prosecutor who we now know Biden knew was investigating his own son. At the very same time, the company was evoking Hunter Biden's name all over the Obama State Department. What were they wanting? Political favors. Make these investigations go away. This is how corruption, the swamp works, isn't it? When their media mob friends lie, they say no evidence of any wrongdoing. That's what the mob says. No evidence of any wrongdoing. What if this was Vice President Trump and Don Jr.? Are we really supposed to accept that this is business as usual? This is okay? Nothing here, nothing, there's no evidence, it's a conspiracy theory? Forget the law, forget the conflict of interest, forget that Hunter Biden got rich off the backs of U.S. taxpayers. And despite all these documents, all this evidence, all this stench and stink in the swamp of corruption all over Washington, D.C., not a single whistleblower came forward here. No outrage from the mob and the media. No, they're too busy making up excuses they never make for anybody with the last name Trump. Biden was totally protected, just like Hillary was totally protected. But when Trump upheld his sworn duty, read the transcript, enforcing the laws, election interference, and asking the newly elected president of Ukraine to cooperate with the investigation into 2016 election interference, and also later mentioning Vice President Biden's misconduct in the country, well, the swamp erupts. This is outrageous. I can't believe this is happening. And unlike Biden, there was no quid pro quo with Trump, no conflict of interest, no crimes of misconduct. They got the money, they didn't do anything. Read the transcript, totally available online. By the way, the president released the entire thing. What other people say and feel about the transcript? Oh, we are releasing what so-and-so thinks of the transcript. This is meaningless. Oh, my God, somebody said they think it's bad. Meaningless. Read the transcript. The president was faithfully executing the laws of the land. I thought liberals cared about foreign election interference. Look at this corruption. Look at what we've now discovered. Burisma Holdings, they wanted favor from the Obama State Department. It existed on so many levels. And if releasing transcripts are the new norm, Republicans tonight need to begin demanding that the release of all transcripts of Vice President Biden with any Ukrainian official in this period of time. As a matter of fact, let's do it for the whole time he was vice president. Release all the transcripts of the vice president, then Biden, and China, and any other country that was paying his zero-experience son a fortune, millions of dollars. No other Americans getting that deal. And let's release, while we're at it, all transcripts of then President Obama with Vladimir Putin and any other Russian leader after he had more flexibility after his re-election. And while we're at it, let's release any and all transcripts of then President Obama with any of the leaders of Iran and the discussions that led up to the stupidity and the idiocy of giving the mullahs in Iran that chant death to America and Israel $150 billion in cash and other currency. Why would you ever do that? Republicans need to know and to demand those transcripts now be released. The media needs to ask Joe and Obama, hey, do you guys give us permission to look at those transcripts? I have a funny feeling they're not going to want those transcripts released. Now, by the way, Republicans must demand subpoenas while they're at it for very important witnesses. We're going to start with the non-whistleblower whistleblower. In other words, the hearsay whistleblower, the BFF of the compromised coward, the congenital liar, Adam Schiff, and apparently his staff, also apparently friends of Biden. He wasn't on the call. His information was hearsay, third-hand material. Republicans must demand this non-whistleblower go under oath. What was the contact with Schiff's office? What was the relationship with Biden? Who is the person that gave you this third-hand information? And let's be clear. The whistleblower statute does not guarantee anonymity, does protect against retribution, retaliation. They must also demand that Hunter and Joe Biden, that they be put under oath, that they be subpoenaed. Let's not forget the corrupt, compromised, congenital liar, Adam Schiff. He is now a fact witness in this case. Let's put him under oath. Schiff, in fact, his office What advice did they offer the whistleblower from the very beginning? He can't bring the whistleblower in because the whistleblower will be asked questions about him. This is a setup. It's all been conjured again by deep state, unelected bureaucrats that are just obsessed with impeaching Trump because they can't beat him and carrying out the most corrupt person in Washington. This whole thing is being carried out by the biggest congenital liar. This is a clown show, a three-ring circus. That guy's been lying for 3 years.